Hello there, my name is Muhammad Yusuf and you're now watching TVS News at 5. Let's begin with our top story. Now, Sarawak will be the host of a small-scale conference that involves 16 countries under the International Information and Networking Center for Intangible Cultural Heritage in the Asia-Pacific region under the auspices of UNESCO or ICHCAP. The matter was disclosed by Minister of Tourism, Creative Industry and Performing Arts, Datuk Seri Abdul Karim Rahman Hamzah, after paying a courtesy call to Sarawak's Premier, Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg.
Dalam majlis tersebut, selepas persidangan dan dalam majlis tersebut akan ada anugerah khas untuk humanity dan juga anugerah untuk mereka yang bergiat dalam community untuk mengangkatkan intangible art, terutama sekali berkenaan dengan songket di negeri Sarawak.
ICHCAP is an organization involved in the preservation of intangible art based in South Korea. The vehicle sales tax exemption will expire by the end of this month. However, customers who have booked their vehicles during the exemption period will be given until March 31st, 2023 to register their vehicles with the Road Transport Department JPJ. The extension, according to Finance Minister Datuk Seri Tengku Zafrul Abdul Aziz, was due to the overwhelming number of buyers who have yet to receive the vehicles they have booked.
In a statement, Zafrul revealed that there are 264,000 units of vehicles that have not been delivered due to a worldwide microchip shortage, slowing down installation and supply to the buyers. The extension aims to balance the interests of consumers and national tax revenue, which needs to be re-enhanced following post-pandemic times. This will ensure resilience to the country's economy while caring for the welfare of the people simultaneously. As of today, a total of 868,442 units have been sold and buyers have benefited at about 4.7 billion ringgit from the sales tax exemption. The tax policy was introduced on passenger vehicles, MPVs and SUVs since June 15, 2020.
Sarawak will continue to strive for the restoration of health and education rights as enshrined under the Malaysian Agreement 1963. The autonomous power would put forward Sarawak's interests to protect and preserving its unique identity while building on self-reliance in both sectors.
For health education, you can see that last time when our Premier wants to repair the schools, the dilapidated school, we still have to give the money to federal government. We cannot go and build our own because the federal education and health is under the, even though we said the money comes from Sarawak, we don't want people in Sarawak to continue to suffer because they always said no money, but we still need their permission to build.
He stressed that Sarawak is also entitled to at least 6 billion ringgit in allocation annually for the two sectors, as 95% of oil royalty is under the coffer of the federal government.
These two items, right, you're looking at the federal government need to give us back about 6 billion a year under these two, roughly about that, And then apart from giving the power back, but they also need to give us money because income tax collected by who? 95% of the oil royalty collected by who? And that's why we insist on taking it back.
Moreover, Dr. Sim said Sarawak now has the resources in governing and managing such matters.
Now, in the same development, Dr. Sim revealed that the candidates contesting for LANANG and SIBU parliamentary for GE15 are still being finalized, adding that he has sought the advice of the Premier, Datuk Patinggi Tan Sri Abang Johari Tun Openg, on the matter.
When asked to comment on the number of Sarawak United People's Party SUPP contesting in GE15, Dr. Sim, who is also the party's president, said it will be up to the decision of the branch and the candidate system.
Our system is the branches has to nominate someone first, and from there, that's how. And then we all the different agencies do assessment, and from there we come out to one, because there can only be one GPS candidate. Okay.
At present, SIBU division is divided into two parliamentary seats, namely LANANG and SIBU, with voter ethnicity comprising Chinese, Iban, and Malay Melanau. Both seats have been held by DAP with SIBU since 2010 by Oscar Ling Chai Yu, while LANANG has won by Alice Lau Kiong Yang of DAP since 2013.
Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri Yaakob on Monday announced the implementation of a scholarship program dubbed Dharma Siswa B40 TVET, specifically for B40 students pursuing studies in technical and vocational education and training TVET at public higher learning institutions under the Higher Education Ministry this year. Ismail Sabri said this was to motivate and encourage more students to pursue their tertiary studies in TVET, adding that the first intake of the program would involve 1,000 students.
Pengambilan pertama akan melibatkan 1,000 orang pelajar dan kerajaan menjangkakan program ini melibatkan implikasi kewangan berjumlah 36.41 juta ringgit bagi setiap pengambilan.
As such, he was confident that the program would provide more opportunities for Keluarga Malaysia children, especially from the B40 household, to gain access to education at a higher level and build their own careers in the TVET field. He said TVET has been identified as one of the 14 game changers in the 12th Malaysia Plan, as it was time for TVET to be the main choice of youths in preparing themselves for the future, like in other developed countries. Welcome back. Now, leftist Gustavo Petro, a former member of the M19 guerrilla movement who has vowed profound social and economic change, won Colombia's presidency on Sunday, June 19th, the first progressive to do so in the country's history. Addressing supporters in Bogota after the results were announced, Petro said his election marked a new history for the nation.
Es historia lo que estamos escribiendo en este momento, una historia nueva para Colombia, para América Latina, para el mundo. Aquí lo que viene es un cambio de verdad, un cambio real. En ello comprometemos la existencia, la vida misma. No vamos a traicionar ese electorado que lo que le ha gritado al país, lo que le ha gritado precisamente a la historia, es que a partir de hoy Colombia cambia.
Petro beat his opponent Rodolfo Hernandez with a wide margin of some 719,975 votes. The two had been technically tied in polling ahead of the vote. Petro, a former mayor of capital Bogota and current senator, has pledged to fight inequality with free university education, pension reforms, and high taxes on unproductive land. He also won 50.5% to Hernandez's 47.3%. Petro's proposal, especially a ban on new oil projects, have startled some investors, though he has promised to respect current contracts. This campaign was Petro's third presidential bid, and his victory adds the Andean nation to a list of Latin American countries that have elected progressives in recent years. Petro, 62 years old, said he was tortured by the military when he was detained for his involvement with the guerrillas, and his potential victory has high-ranking armed forces officials bracing for change. Petro's running mate Francia Marquez, a single mother and former housekeeper, will be the country's first Afro-Colombian woman vice president. Petro has also pledged to fully implement a 2016 peace deal with FARC rebels and seeks talks with the still active ELN guerrillas.
In a crushing outcome, French President Emmanuel Macron and his allies on Sunday lost their absolute majority in parliament, a major blow to his control of the reform agenda. Initial projections showed Macron's centrist ensemble alliance was still set to secure the most seats, followed by the left wing headed by the hard-left veteran Jean-Luc Mélenchon.
But Macron and his allies would fall well short of the absolute majority they need to control parliament. If confirmed, a hung parliament would open up a period of political uncertainty that would require a degree of power sharing among parties not experienced in France in recent decades. In another major change for French politics, Marine Le Pen's far-right Rassemblement National Party could win as many as 100 seats, its biggest score on record. Le Pen said she wants to unite all patriots, including those on the left. Macron's ability to pursue further reform of the Eurozone's second biggest economy would hinge on his ability to rally moderates outside of his alliance on the right and left behind his legislative agenda.
See the world closer with TVS as we bring you the latest news updates both locally and internationally, just a click away by heading on to our website at www.tvstv.my or follow us on our social media platforms. And that's all the time we have for TVS News at 5. I'm Mohammad Yusuf. Thank you for watching.
Saya masih ingat lagi pada malam melah pinang, saya buntu dan menangis, namun perkahwinan tetap dilangsungkan mengikut adat Iban.
Akibat perbuatan lelaki itu, saya mengandung manakala keluarga sangat malu apabila mengetahui keadaan diri saya.
Perkahwinan bawah umur, sejauh mana kebahagiaan dapat dikecapi. Nantikan laporan penuh Tangisan Gadis Sundi, Isnin jam 8 malam hanya di TV.